All right, let's just jump right in. For, thousands of years, we've looked at the animals all around us and just wondered, what are they thinking? What are they trying to say? Well, today we're going to talk about how artificial intelligence is turning that ancient question into one of the most exciting scientific quests imaginable. Seriously, think about it for a second. Would you ask your dog if it's really happy? Or maybe ask a whale about the mysteries of the deep ocean? This isn't just a fun little thought experiment anymore.
This dream isn't new at all. From ancient myths to stories like Dr. Dolittle, we've always wanted to have a deeper connection with the animal world, a way to actually understand what's going on in their heads.
But what used to be pure fantasy, pure magic, well, now it's a very serious scientific quest. And it's all thanks to these huge leaps in machine learning. We are right on the edge of creating what could be a universal translator for the entire animal kingdom.
Okay. So how do you even begin to translate a language you don't understand at all? This is the fundamental challenge. It's the first massive hurdle that scientists have to figure out how to get over.
You're probably thinking, wait, can't we just use the same tools that translate English to French? And the answer is a hard no. And the reason why really gets to the very core of this entire challenge.
So to learn a language, your typical translation AI needs something called parallel data. Think of it exactly like a Rosetta Stone. You have the same sentence written in two different languages side by side. The AI then crunches millions of these pairs to learn the connections. But for whales, or birds, or any animal, we have absolutely zero parallel data. We have the whale side, sure, but we have nothing on the human side to match it with.
This slide really breaks it down. On the left, you've got supervised translation. That's the traditional method, and it absolutely needs that Rosetta Stone of parallel data. But for animals, that's a non-starter. So we have to turn to the breakthrough on the right, unsupervised translation. This is incredible stuff. This AI can learn to translate using only monolingual texts. Imagine feeding it a library of English books and a totally separate library of French books with no dictionary at all to connect them, and it just figures out the patterns on its own. This is our only shot at understanding animal languages.
So how on earth does this AI achieve what sounds completely impossible? Well, it's a totally different way of thinking about what language even is.
So instead of matching words one-to-one, this AI builds a sort of multi-dimensional map of a language. It learns the relationships between words. So, for example, it figures out that the distance in direction from man to woman is almost identical to the distance in direction from king to queen. It's learning the underlying structure, the very geometry of the language.
And this is where it gets really mind-bending. The AI has discovered that all languages, whether they're human or not, seem to have a similar underlying mathematical structure. As you can see here, it maps out a language like a complex tree. And the theory is, if it can map the shape of sperm whale clicks and the shape of English, it can then just rotate and align these two shapes to build a bridge between them. It's basically translation through geometry. Wild, right?
And here's the really crucial part from the researchers who are pioneering this stuff. This isn't just a cool theory. It's actually feasible. The amount of data we'd need to collect from animals might not be some astronomically huge number. And that makes this whole quest suddenly seem very possible.
And like I said, this isn't just theory. All across the globe, there are these incredible projects already putting this AI to the test, listening to our planet in ways we have never, ever done before. I mean, the scope of this research is just incredible. You've got Project CD deploying this huge array of underwater microphones to capture their really complex codas of sperm whales, hoping to translate their conversations. Then you have the Earth Species Project, which is taking an even broader approach, developing open source AI to decode the communication of pretty much any species. We're even seeing tools like DeepSqueak analyzing rodent calls to see if they're stressed, and AI being used to help the endangered Hawaiian crow basically learn its own native language again. It's a truly global effort.
And this technology is already starting to make its way into our homes. There's an app called Meows, and it's powered by AI. It claims to have achieved a pretty staggering 90% accuracy in identifying different cat meows. It says it can tell the difference between meows that mean I'm happy, or I'm in pain, or I'm angry. Now, of course, it's a commercial app, not a peer-reviewed study, but it is a fascinating little glimpse of what's coming. Okay, so this is where the science fiction really starts to become science fact. And with it comes some really profound, really difficult questions. What happens when we actually succeed?
This is the ultimate question, isn't it? Will we hear songs of joy and complex social dramas? Or are we going to uncover something much darker? The answer, whatever it is, could completely reshape our place in the natural world.
One possibility is, well, it's a deeply uncomfortable one. As the biologist Richard Dawkins points out, for a lot of animals, life in the wild is just filled with constant fear and suffering. What if the main message we finally hear from the animal world is just a chorus of pain?
And that leads to a monumental ethical question. If we can hear a cry for help, are we obligated to answer it? Does knowing about this suffering, on a linguistic level, force us to intervene in nature in ways we never have before? Where do you even draw that line?
But then there's another, equally profound possibility. What if we discover intelligence, consciousness, maybe even culture that rivals our own? If a whale can communicate abstract thoughts, should it be granted personhood? Our entire legal and moral framework for how we treat other species would just be thrown into total chaos.
So the technology is pushing us toward this future that's both thrilling and honestly ethically terrifying. We're on the verge of opening a door that we can never ever close again.
So we end right back where we began, that conversation. It's not a distant fantasy anymore. It's a technical problem that is being solved by scientists right now as we speak. So if you had the chance, if you could be the first human to truly speak to another species, what would be your opening line?